People talk about single family and multifamily, but you know what people don't ever talk about is making money by renting dirt. That's exactly what I'm doing here at Big Spring, Texas, a park that I've owned for 5 months, but nets $200,000 a year in my pockets. I'm actually gonna learn about this park today because it's the first time I've ever been here. So come on the journey with me. Let's learn about this park. Where did we find it? How you can find these too. How one park could literally allow you to quit your entire job by renting dirt to these people. Many people think that buying an RV park is completely out of reach. But what if I told you that the RV parks I buy are all with no money down, no credit, and no credentials? Meaning I'm not going out and getting a license to do these things, and I don't have any sort of brokerage or any of those types of things. I think that would be number one. Number two is these sellers that are selling these RV parks want to give you payments. They want to give you creative finance. And the reason being is because they have been living on these RV parks for their entire life. So the RV parks that we're gonna be touring at Big Spring, Texas, you guys will see that these parks are making $18,000 per month in my pocket. That's not revenue coming in, that's revenue minus expenses, minus payroll, minus taxes, minus my payment to the seller who gave me seller finance, and then in my pocket is $18,000 per month. This will help you understand why there's an opportunity for a guy like me to buy this. So park owners will buy a park, and then the two parks combined make $18,000 net. So after all expenses, after all payments, everything, I make $18,000 between the two parks. And that's in its current condition. So I could bump this to $28,000 a month net just by adding awnings
to every single site.
To every site. Then if I really wanted to add an extra, like get to 40 grand a month, all I would have to do is expand this area.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't the previous owner do that? What's really cool about this is that the sellers that have owned these parks get to a point in their life where they go, man alive, I just own one park, and now I've lived off that income my whole life, and now I'm at a point where I would like to retire and not run my own park. What this does is it gives me, the real estate investor, a massive opportunity because the rents have not been increased in 5 to 7 years. So I can come into a park just like this one, and I can take it over with seller finance. It's already making $18,000 a month, and then I can go and expand into 40 more spaces. One of the biggest plans we have for this RV park in Big Spring, Texas, is that we are going to take some of the cash flow that's coming in and expand this park into 40 new spaces. It's not just cash. This is so important for people to understand. It's because they live on the cash. I don't live on my cash.
Therefore you can invest.
I can invest. And so what they do is they get to a point where they go, well, I've tapped out what I can suck out of this property, so let me sell this and go buy something bigger.
Got it.
And so they're living on the cash. I would reinvest the cash, and I'd get this to a point where it's bringing in an extra, dude, this literally, the South Park and the North Park could be $50,000 a month net parks. Once this park expands into more spaces and we place some tiny homes or even RV park spaces in here, our monthly net in our pocket cash flow will be closer to $40,000 per month. Now, what's fun about this is that most people watching this right now, correct me if I'm wrong, would probably love to just own one of these parks. One of these parks has the potential of putting $40,000 per month in your pocket. One of the facts that I have figured out over the last 5 years of being in RV parks, I started as a lender first, lending to other students of mine as they bought their own RV parks. And then I started buying my own, is I found it's actually way easier to get a seller finance deal on an RV park than it is to get 4, 5, 6, or 7 single family home sellers to give you something sub 2 or seller finance. It's actually a lot easier, and they're more willing to do it. The reason being is because they're in a different phase of their life. They've owned the business, they've lived off the cash flow, and they're ready to retire. The Tucson multifamily,
Yeah.
that guy was living on every penny that was coming in. And he was, yep, every penny. Well, because he had 6 people living off of it. So what happens is you have all this money coming in, and then everybody in your family starts living off that income. I mean, dude, we literally, like, you think about what it takes to build a spot.
Yeah.
All it takes is a septic tank, electrical, and gravel. Like, why couldn't we open up right here, 40 more spots?
The seller of this park had been living in the park, taking care of it himself. He got to a point where most RV park owners, there's really only two categories. One category is the seller who's lived in the park, lived off the cash flow, and now has gotten to the point where he's tired and exhausted managing the park himself. We call these people tired landlords. They're really easy to find. In fact, I can go to dealsauce.io. I can go and do a filter by saying RV parks, ownership over 15 years, one park per name, showing that that individual only owns one park and has owned that park for 15 years. The likelihood that that seller wants to retire after 15 years of running their own park is incredibly high. This is how we increase our probability of getting seller finance deals. So when we worked this seller, we found that this seller was ready to retire, live off the monthly payments, and we were able to creatively buy this park with no money out of our pocket.
But the thing is, I literally own all of this without what? Money. I literally have no money of my own into this deal at all.
So what's fun about this is that the seller living off that cash, leaving the park and turning into the lender, he doesn't have to manage the park anymore, go to the park, deal with the tenants, marketing, etc., because now he is going to be my bank. So now, instead of him living off $40,000 a month, he's going to collect a $15,000, $20,000 payment from me, and I take the rest. So the way it would work is he's net cash flowing $40,000. I come to him and I go, Mr. Seller, let me make monthly payments to you. You walk away, I take over the park. That $40,000 that's coming in, now he's allowing me to take $20,000 of that, become the new owner, and he walks away with no management, no headaches, no taxes, no toilets, no trash, none of that stuff, and walks away with a monthly payment of $20,000 per month. The benefit I give to him is not only peace of mind, but honestly freedom in his life to get a check every single month from a park he has owned for a very long time. He has security, he's safe, and he receives that $20,000 every single month while I own the park.
Okay. I wanna know, like if you look at our P&L, you'll see every single month of what they bring in. So the first thing I wanna know is what's my seasonality?
Yeah.
I want to know what months I have to have extra padding for and whatnot. Then number two, you ever move into a house or an apartment and you move in immediately and then you buy furniture and then like 6 months later you're like, I should have bought a smaller table. That's what happens in moving into your own spot, but way worse here. Yeah. Because once you buy something, you're, gosh dang it.
It could be tens of thousands of dollars potentially.
Yeah, tens of thousands of dollars, and especially like,
clear all that out.
That's where I bet you that's
floods for whatever reason.
Right. Find out it floods, or let's say the awning guy screws you and steals money from you. There's a lot of things that can happen. And so for me, I'd rather stockpile cash for a year. Yeah. It's why I don't buy it. People go, do you want to go build art? Why aren't you building RV parks? I'm like,
that seems like a chump game.
That seems like,
you could really lose your
do you want to plant trees or just harvest the fruit from people who planted them 20 years ago? Well, definitely the latter. So that's what I'm doing here. Think about somebody came out here, somebody had a vision, somebody risked putting the septic tanks there versus over there. Somebody risked putting up that expensive fence line right there.
Now here's how I bought the park. I didn't buy it with any money out of my pocket, but I did give the seller some cash. The seller allowed us to put $500,000 down, and instead of me coming out of my pocket for $500,000, I went to members in the Sub2 community and I said, hey, would you guys like to partner on this deal with me? Everybody jump in and let's all become partners together.
And underwrote it, meaning he kept looking at the deals like there's potential, but it's priced too high. And so we kept negotiating, and the seller ended up wanting to get a down payment. So the down payment was like $500,000. And I never put money down out of my pocket, just as a principal. And so what I did is I just went to 5 members in Sub2. And I said, hey, who wants to be a part owner with me? And so they've got like 15% ownership. My deal with them is that I will take the cash flow from the first couple of years, pay them all the way off, keep them on as owners, but they're all the way paid off, if that makes sense. So it's a really good investment for them.
These are no longer called PMLs, which is a private money lender. They are now what I call PMPs, private money partners. They bring their cash into my deal. They get some ownership. They get some cash flow, they get some tax benefits, yet I own the majority of the park, I operate the park, and I distribute the cash to them. This is how I can go get a seller a large down payment on a big park that's making me a ton of money. So what's fun is that not only am I bringing in $40,000, $50,000 every single month on this park, paying the seller his payment, I'm also paying some cash to the private money partners, and I will then still net in my pocket $18,000 to $20,000 every single month.
Whenever you're raising capital, you always, obviously, there's not a tried, true percentage that you pay people. You have to appeal to people, and you're marketing, right? You're marketing and saying, I want your money in this deal. And why would I want to do that? Why wouldn't I just put my own money in the deal? Think about this. If I have $500,000, I have a couple of choices. I can put $500,000 into this park and the North Park, which we haven't been to yet. And now that money is dead. It's sitting in this park. Yes, I'm getting a monthly return, but it's nothing like massive, right? Or I can take 85% of both these parks with no money out of my pocket, give up 15% ownership, and then take my $500,000 and go put that into lending to other people's projects.
All right, so let's meet the person who actually runs the park. This is something that I think a lot of our viewers need to see because they always ask, how do you run these parks? How do you manage these parks? Guys, we've now owned this park for over 6 months. I've never been here. I've never dealt with paperwork. I've never logged somebody in. I've never looked at anything. The beautiful thing is we have Maddie on site. She's taking care of the tenants. As you'll notice is she'll actually remember tenants' names and the lot number they are staying in.
You're 53, right?
53.
That's insane that you remember that.
I just look at their face and like kind of what site.
How incredible is that? She also shows us the software, all the cash that she's hoarding in one location. This girl is awesome. She runs everything, not only the South Park, but she also runs the North Park. One, she does incredibly well, but this is giving her the leeway to be a full-time mom. She can bring her kids to the park, she can leave, she can come back, she can manage her own schedule by automating and creating value at the park even when she's not there. Now, one of the things that I really love that Maddie told us is I said, Maddie, what would you do if I could give you an unlimited budget to improve these parks? She gave me 3 answers. Number 1, she said, I would do more awnings.
Okay, got it. So $600 is our average.
Yes. And awnings are 800.
Awnings are 800.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting because if you go, do you know what an average awning costs?
I say $6,000 per awning.
Okay, think about that. So if we spend $6,000 on an awning, it bumps the rent $200 a month, which is $2,400 a year. So what's your cash on cash return for that? Your cash on cash return for that is literally, that's really good. That's like a,
This goes back to what we were talking about in the car.
Even at one point I was like, you know what, we should up it to 900.
like why not? There's so,
Because we do so good and so many people want awnings, one because of the heat.
how many spots are there?
We have 80 spots here.
Wow.
But the only bad problem is I only have 2 spots open right now.
Yeah.
And the only reason why there's going to be more open when you go through the park, but someone already paid and booked for that spot to come at the end of the month. So only technically have 2 spots.
every day you've been here for 2
Since I've been here, I've been at full capacity.
And here's the reason why. The average tenant is paying $600 per site with no awning. The ones with awnings are paying $800 per month because they want their trailers protected. It keeps their AC a lot cooler, saves them money on utilities, etc. And they're willing to pay an extra $200 per month. Okay, if I do the math on this, we have a wait list of people that are saying, I want a spot with an awning. The awnings are gonna cost $6,000 each. So I could afford, from my cash flow, $18,000 per month, I could afford buying 3 awnings per month, which then amplifies my cash flow $600 per month. Think about this. For a $18,000 investment from my cash flow, not out of my pocket, $18,000 investment, I will bring in an extra $7,200 a year. That's interesting. $7,200 return on an $18,000 investment. That's a 30% return on my money. Those awnings will pay themselves off in 36 months just from the cash flow. What an incredible investment. So I told Molly, who's in charge of Maddie, I said, Molly, we need to immediately invest in these awnings. This is one of the greatest places we could park our money, is buying more awnings. And so that's one of the first things she suggested. Another thing she suggested was a dog park and some other amenities.
Like I was working on a dog park, possibly out here, because people like to walk their dogs and play fetch and stuff, but I don't allow that because it's not an enclosed. I don't need one dog attacking another dog if they're not playful. So if dogs are playful, they could go to the dog park and play.
Cool. The third thing she suggested was pace. We have a lot more spots at this park. We could expand, we could develop, we could spend some money and get 40 more spots. We have a waiting list, for heaven's sakes. People are willing to pay more money to get in that park because it's almost impossible to get a spot in that town. Best part about all of this is that none of it is seasonal. My Montana parks make all their money in 5 or 6 months out of the year and are basically dead the other 6 to 7 months out of the year. The Texas parks, however, have a 5-year waiting list. People are wanting to get in here now. They're 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. The oil-filled companies are paying for their rent. They just want a safe, clean environment.
So where I'm at is I have a question to ask myself, which is, okay, hey investors, do we want to take the 20 grand a month that we're making and go develop or do the awnings? Or do you just want your principal back?
Okay.
And so they have to make a decision, do you want your principal back? And I think most of them are like, no, we're ride or die. We want to be in this deal forever. So let's take the cash and reinvest into those other things.
Is it a majority rules, or is everyone gets to kind of...
It's, this guy rules.
Because you have the majority.
Yeah, I'm the majority. So I could tell people.
But you give them like, you're kind of like being nice. If you're like...
Yeah, I'm like, hey guys, what do you think? Is that cool?
You're giving them an option that you're like, you guys would be dumb not to.
Plus, one of the promises I make when I raise money on projects like this is I promise them they're gonna learn. And so when you are on a project and you are the down payment, you come on and you learn like, okay, well, how are we gonna develop and how to run the office and what software are you using and how do we amplify the revenue? You're gonna learn all of those things, which is a freaking doctorate's degree in real estate investing. And you get your principal back and you keep ownership. That's freaking insane if you think about it.
If we add our 40 more spots, the cool thing about this is I plan on placing tiny homes in these locations that are duplexes. That's 40 tiny homes in those spots. I can get $900 per side times 40. Guys, what is that? $72,000 extra per month in cash coming in the door from 40 tiny homes. We plan on expanding that park in early 2026, and so watch out for an update video on all of that.
And this is my first day coming here. How do you guys like the cabin?
It's nice.
Do you guys normally stay at cabins when you go stay at places?
Yeah, we're getting an RV.
Okay.
But I love this cabin because it's spacious.
What's fun about owning parks and owning real estate is that you get to give people jobs. Now, somebody like Maddie who says, I'm never leaving, I have an amazing work-life balance, my kid can be here, my kid's sick, so I gotta run to and from, etc.
Are you able to bring like your kids here and stuff like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sweet, that's great. You're awesome.
Thank you.
We need more of you. If I had more of you, I'd buy more parks.
Oh my God.
There's good employees and then there's great ones. People like Maddie, she says, I can manage both parks. We own a South Park and a North Park. Now, of course, I'm gonna drive up to the North Park a little bit later, but Maddie says I manage both those parks, no problem. I have automations, I have systems, I have processes. I really don't have to be here that often. And you know what? The numbers prove she's right.
What do I need to know about the other park? Because I'm gonna go over there when you're not there. What do you hate about that park?
This sounds awful, everybody. I hate that part. I feel like it needs a whole 360.
Did Brandon own that as well, right? Okay.
That was he called it their extra cash RV park. They didn't care about it.
All right, so we are heading to the North Park right now. I have not been there, and according to Maddie, this park sucks. She says straight up, and I would cut in right here where she says, I hate everything about that park. Apparently she hates everything about this park. So we're gonna find out why. And Brandon, the seller who sold this park to me, apparently just told Maddie, we're not gonna spend any money on this park because it's just like extra cash for us. And I'm wondering why that is. I almost feel like I wanna call Brandon now that I own the park and just be like, hey, what was the thought here? Like, why weren't you reinvesting? And it might be just, it doesn't have as much demand based on the location. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do a drive-through of this park. Now, there's not even a sign. Oh yeah, this is the office. On-site, a manager available, please call. So that would call to the other park. She's got like maintenance stuff here, and then their little golf cart for the maintenance. I like how they left their golf cart in there. I think our maintenance guy is right here.
It must be.
Are you guys happy with the park? The trailer park?
Oh, with the park?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anything we could do to add anything for you guys?
Covered awning.
Awnings, okay.
I think the people at the other park are paying $200 a month for their awning. Would you guys pay extra for that or no?
I pay 100.
Okay, 180.
180.
So the main thing is if I had awnings here.
Awnings help your electricity bill because right now, with the previous owners, I don't know how you changed it or whatever, but right now we pay one flat rate.
That's how it is. That's what we're whatever you guys had going on before, we're doing the same thing.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Yeah, we're not changing anything. The only thing I'm doing is,
will save you in the long run as an investment.
okay, got it.
Because
'cause
I
you guys
just
are
went to
draining-
somebody
okay.
else's when he got off of work and he's at another park, actually right across the street that has an awning, and his camper was way cooler.
Okay. So you guys are pulling from the power, I'm paying for that.
Yep.
If I had the awning, okay, it makes sense. And then plus
It
it
saves your
you're saving
electricity, and
money.
that's your biggest.
It protects your trailer too.
electricity.
Yeah. And it saves the trailer. Saves the trailer life.
So here's a couple of lessons for newer investors. This is my advice from owning a handful of RV parks, and I feel like I'm just getting started. Lesson number one is when you first buy a park, don't touch the cash flow for year one. And the reason being is because you want to learn the seasonality and what months you need extra cash flow. My first time buying a park, which is a handful of years ago, I was taking dividends and paychecks in the high months, and I wasn't leaving any cash flow for the low months. I decided, whoa, when my bank account hit zero and we had payroll come due, I had to pull money back out of my personal account and put it back in the business account because I was not accounting for that. My Montana parks are highly seasonal. And so what I would suggest to all new RV park owners, wait a full year until you start taking distributions to yourself. Now, you can do whatever you want. My first time owning an RV park, I took all the cash flow out of the park the first year, but I learned some lessons along the way. What I really like doing now is making sure I don't touch the money for an entire year. I let that money accumulate so I know exactly what months are my good months, my bad months, and where I can improve. That's step number one. Step number two, you now have a bundle of cash that you can decide, are there places I can put money to amplify cash flow before I go buy new parks? So that's what we're doing at these Big Spring, Texas parks is we are taking some of the cash flow and putting it into the awnings before we go and expand, and then before we go and buy new parks. If you want to do the volume game or the snowball effect, you'll want this cash flow to then improve the park, expand the park, then take that cash flow and then go buy another park. Continue to do this over and over and over and over until your desired cash flow hits your monthly net goal that you're trying to achieve. Some people could do this with one park. People like me, I got a Prius, I got a truck, I got a van, I got another truck. My lifestyle's not worthy of just one park. I gotta have a handful of parks in order for me to hit my lifestyle goal. And so that would be a big suggestion of how many parks should you be going after. My average park nets about $20,000 per month. So you would take, all right, well, I wanna make $50,000 a month. Well, you wanna take 3 parks, own them, rebrand them. Or if you're like, I wanna be $100,000 a month, cool. You're probably gonna go after 5 or 6 parks. Don't touch the cash flow until you've stabilized all 5 or 6 parks.
So what I just realized is that how big of a need RV parks are to fill a need for people that don't want to commit to a lease somewhere else.
Oh, that's what it was.
Right? It's like if I get a 2-bedroom apartment, it might be less expensive, maybe more convenient, but also what if my job moves me, right? All these oil field stuff, they're very transient. And you go sign a lease, like if I'm in a if I'm renting out an apartment as an investor, I don't want a tenant that's less than a year. And so these guys are locking in for a year and they don't want to be that committal.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's better for them to just have their own trailer, because now guess what you can do? You get a new job, you move that trailer to a new park. It's non-committal rental is what it is, because we charge these guys month by month. They can leave anytime they want. Oil drives this entire town. Isn't that interesting?
I hope this has inspired you to show you that you can do this too, and you do not have to manage your own parks. These parks produce income. They're in high demand. There's so much opportunity going forward over the next 10, 20, 30 years. It solves affordability, my friends, and anything that solves affordability is what we want to double down, triple down, and quadruple down on. While you guys have watched this video, I hope you already did it, but you should have already RSVP'd for the upcoming live challenge that I have going on. And by the way, we'll do multiple updates on this particular park. I'm gonna own this for years and years to come. You'll see our tiny home expansion. You'll see all sorts of cool things. You'll see more of these characters that show up at our parks multiple times. And also, if you have not done this yet, go to creativenationtour.com. I am going to be in your town to help people do deals live and in person at a local meetup in your town. creativenationtour.com, or go down in the link below, click on it, RSVP. Tickets are completely free. Shout out to Home Depot, Monster, Privy, PadSplit, Prime Corporate Services, and a bunch of other sponsors that have loved on us so that we could afford to go across the country and love on you guys.